The United States government may have reopened, but is Washington itself back in order? President Trump's signature may have ended the historic shutdown, yet the same hand now directs a tense show of force in the Caribbean. As the United States warships drift towards Venezuelan waters, one cannot help but ask, is this about restoring order abroad or distracting from disorder within? Venezuela's response has been swift: military mobilization, fiery rhetoric, and open defiance. But when does deterrence become trespassing? When does global policing blur into provocation? At home, new emails link Jeffrey Epstein's crimes to circles around the president, allegations that hover like a storm over the administration's credibility. And if the line between governance and scandal continues to thin, what assurance does a nation have that its moral compass still points north if its own leader stands accused or even suspected of the very violations that it condemns elsewhere? And as America wrestles with power, perception, and principle, the world looks on, measuring not just its might, but its meaning. This is the Flash News. Welcome, I am Star Smart. Well, the longest government shutdown in American history is finally over.
So I'm always willing to work with anyone, including the other party. We'll work on something having to do with healthcare. We can do a lot better. We can do great. So much money is involved, and we're willing to pay so much money to the people. So we're going to pay a lot of money to the people. They're going to go out and buy their own health care, and we're going to forget this Obamacare madness. So with all of that, I just want to tell you the country has never been in better shape. We went through this short-term disaster with the Democrats because they thought it would be good politically, and it's an honor now to sign this incredible bill and get our country working again. Thank you.
President Donald Trump has signed a bipartisan bill to reopen the United States government after more than 6 weeks of paralysis. A political standoff that left nearly 1 million federal workers without pay and froze critical services across the nation. The shutdown, triggered by disputes over funding for border security, cost the economy billions of dollars and revealed deep fractures in America's political system. Airports saw mounting delays, food aid was disrupted, and scientific research ground to a halt. For many citizens, it wasn't just about lost income, it was about lost faith in governance. While the reopening brings relief, the scars remain. The Congressional Budget Office estimates the shutdown cost the United States over $11 billion, much of it unrecoverable. Beyond the numbers lies a more delicate question. When political power becomes a weapon of brinksmanship, who truly pays the price? The politicians or the people? Analysts say President Trump's move to sign the bill reflects a calculated retreat aimed at stabilizing markets and restoring public confidence. Yet it also highlights the fragility of democracy when compromise gives way to confrontation. And just as the ink dries on this hard-won deal, a more personal controversy clouds the president's horizon. And we're talking about the fresh revelations that have emerged from the Jeffrey Epstein investigation, as newly released emails between Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, an individual close to President Trump resurfaced questions about what and when the president knew. The emails made public by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee contain references suggesting that Trump was aware of the girls, a phrase linked to Epstein's network of sexual abuse victims. Epstein, a financier with powerful connections, died by suicide in 2019 while awaiting trial for trafficking minors. President Donald Trump has categorically denied any involvement in Epstein's crimes, insisting their acquaintance ended years before the scandal broke. But Democrats argue the correspondence raises serious questions about the president's knowledge and proximity to a man accused of monstrous crimes. The significance of these revelations extend beyond the courtroom. They cut to the moral fabric of leadership. How much does personal history weigh on public trust? Can a leader advocate justice abroad while questions of justice linger at home? The latest controversy underscores a deeper American dilemma, one where power, loyalty, and accountability collide. And as Washington grapples with its internal storms, another crisis brews further south, where the threat is not political, but military. In Latin America, Venezuela, it says it is launching a massive mobilization of troops, artillery, and aircraft following reports of increased U.S. naval presence in the Caribbean Sea. The Venezuelan Defense Ministry accuses Washington of provocation and warns that the deployment of U.S. warships near its territorial waters is a flagrant violation of sovereignty. American officials, however, describe the move as part of a counter-narcotics operations, though analysts say it also signals pressure on President Nicolas Maduro's government, one the United States still does not recognize as legitimate. The show of force marks a renewed flashpoint in hemispheric politics. Russia and China, both key allies of Caracas, have condemned what they call gunboat diplomacy. The tension threatens to polarize Latin America further, deepening the fault lines between governments aligned with Washington and those defying it. Now, the implications are grave. A single miscalculation, a patrol gone wrong, a misread radar signal could ignite a confrontation neither side can afford. And it leaves the world asking, in a global order already strained by mistrust, when does deterrence cross the line into provocation? Well, as eyes remain on the Caribbean, Europe turns its gaze inward, not towards conflict, but towards remembrance. Today in France, silence fills the street where terror once roared. The nation marks a decade since the jihadist attacks of November 13, 2015. The darkest night in modern French history. It was a Friday evening when gunmen and suicide bombers aligned with the Islamic State group struck Paris in coordinated assaults. Cafes, restaurants, and Stade de France and the Bataclan Concert Hall became killing grounds. 130 lives were taken and hundreds more scarred forever. Courtesy of France 24, we have this clip from 10 years ago, where President at the time, President François Hollande, gave this condolence speech.
My fellow citizens, as I speak, a terrorist attack of an unprecedented scale is underway in the Paris region. Dozens have been killed and many wounded. It is horrific.
Well, 10 years today, President Emmanuel Macron is visiting each attack site, leading commemorations at a newly unveiled memorial garden in central Paris. The ceremony honors the victims and reaffirms France's commitment to liberty in the face of extremism. Yet for many, the wounds remain open. Survivors recount flashbacks, anxiety, and the haunting question that still divides the nation. How can an open society protect itself without surrendering the freedoms that define it? Can the heart of democracy beat freely under the constant shadows of terror? The attacks transformed European security policies and reshaped the continent's approach to migration, intelligence sharing, and counterterrorism. But beyond policy, they changed people, their sense of safety, belonging, and unity. As candles burn across Paris tonight, the message resonates far beyond France. Remembrance is not just about the past, it is a vow that such a night must never come again. From Washington's political gridlock to Europe's enduring grief, from personal scandal to global standoffs, the world, it seems, is forever balancing power with conscience. And as nations wrestle with their past and their pride, one question echoes through every capital. Can the pursuit of power ever truly coexist with the pursuit of peace? Well, we've come to the end of today's Flash News. Until next time, I want to say thank you for joining in.